My wonderful, beautiful, amazing Libras. This week I decided to kind of show face again, so every so often I'm just going to change the way I do my readings. But I'm Gabriella from Gabriella's Vampire Tarot. For today, I'm going to be doing your general reading, your past, present, future, 9-card spread. I'm going to be using the regular tarot deck, clarify it with the vampire deck, draw a special vampire card, draw a vampire oracle, and then draw 3 yes or no answers for thee. So let's get started on your reading. Kind of move this over a little bit. So, alrighty, the general card is the Four of Pentacles reversed. Let's look at the first row, which is also your past. Okay, you start off with Five of Cups, Queen of Wands, Leo energy, and Six of Swords, Aquarius, and of course more air placements of more maybe Libra or Gemini placements or Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio here. Yeah, I sense that you were incredibly brave to head off towards a different direction. Because something caused you some form of probably a really big sense of disappointment or disparity for that matter. But the fact is that you were confident, courageous, and strong enough to head off towards a different direction. Kudos and congratulations if this does resonate for any Libras out in this world. Because the thing is, it's like some humans, it's like, okay, well, hypothetically that came in reverse. It sort of means, that you were, disappointed, but you were strong enough to kind of just say, I'm not going to let go because whatever worth having doesn't come easy, but this was worth it. But sometimes in a situation like when the Six of Swords is upright, sometimes it's just also at a certain point to say, you know what, I did everything in my power to try to maybe correct it or try to, do something, to make it better or different and stuff like that. However, at a certain point, sometimes it's really good just to kind of say, I'm done. I did everything in my power, but if, no other options are available or no other actions can be taken, at a certain point, you do have to follow a different direction, and that's kind of what I saw you doing, which I think is so important, because at a certain point you just have to say, you know what, I just can't do it anymore. Why force something that's just not going to be benefiting or working out in your favor in the end, But we're going to have to move on to current times. You get Three of Pentacles reversed, Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo energy. Ooh, more fire placements, maybe Aries, more Leo or Sagittarius. Ooh, and Aries with the Tower. Yeah, the thing is, this looks like, your own personal battle that you're dealing with. Because with the Three of Pentacles reversed, it's kind of like you're facing your obstacles, your setbacks, your, all kinds of difficulties alone. And, sad but true, sometimes these situations, will take place where you have to deal with your own, will take on your own personal demons and stuff like that. And the thing is, it's like with the Ace of Wands reverse, it's like putting no time or energy or not having the motivation to want to actually pursue it because, you're probably facing this big change. And sad but true, it looks like it's a personal big change for that matter. And I mean, hopefully, the part that would actually, will hopefully, will resonate for you is that you would still have your friends and family to support you. But in the case where, that's, not taking place, for you in any way, okay, sometimes we do have to deal with our own personal problems. I mean, take me, for example, when I woke up from my, rebirthing of being a vampire, stuff like that, I was pretty much just faced with all of my obstacles by myself. I had nobody to guide me, nobody able to run towards. I had nobody. So, I mean, if I were to run to my family, my parents, and say, look at me, what happened? And then they would think, oh my goodness, they would probably have, done some actual sacrifice with me. I won't go into too much ancient detail about what those sacrifices even mean. But yeah, the thing is, it's like, yeah, if you're faced with, personal obstacles, I mean, I did mention this during the Capricorn full moon video, is I do enjoy watching it, not because I have that sadistic side to me, but I love watching people overcoming their personal obstacles. So maybe this could probably still be resonating from the full moon in Capricorn, if you even have Capricorn placements in your star chart. But we'll move forward to the future. Okay, you start off with the High Priestess reversed. Magician, Gemini, and Virgo placements, and Eight of Cups reversed. Now this is where you're just not going to give up. And I think this is beyond, impeccable on so many levels. Why? Because the thing is even though you're, the High Priestess, your upper book of knowledge, I mean, this is probably maybe lack of experience for that matter, because normally with the High Priestess upright, it's like her upper book of knowledge, and that's usually includes your experiences, your past memories, everything about the past, that you more or less work towards and stuff like that. So, but what I kind of see here is maybe you're going to kind of go out on a limb a bit. Not bad, hey, try anything, try to manifest anything that's possible and stuff like that, because this big change is pretty much going to be, actually, just correlating, to the fact that you want to pretty much just be, you want to actually, make this big change somehow. Because something, wasn't really working out in your favor because of the whole disappointment. But I love the fact that, you're probably, in the past already taking a different route. And then, here you're pretty much just not giving up in the future. So, congratulations. I think that is such a wonderful step to take. But anyway, let's do some clarification for that matter. Five of Cups, yeah, you got the Devil. Actually, more Capricorn, speaking of the Capricorn side. Yeah, I mean, this could have been the Devil's doing, in the sense it could have been external, voices, external people that cause, the sense of disappointment. But it could have also been maybe, self-doubt, lack of faith kind of, voice, from the Devil itself. It does, the Devil in this card has no gender or object or person for that matter. But, the Devil mostly, kind of contributed to this situation, where you pretty much just thought, oh goodness, I just, got hit with some kind of disappointment, and I just don't know if I can handle it. But I love the fact that the Queen of Wands came up. A real strong and courageous, I mean, it is a Leo card for that matter, but it's very strong and courageous in its own way. So, yeah. Oh, speaking of the Magician, the second Magician. Yep. And this is where you're pretty much already creating this outline of, what you want to actually start creating. You want to improve. And that is what already took place in the past. So I think this is wonderful, because the fact that it even took place in the past, I mean, normally you would hope that the High Priestess would show up in the past, or actually, it's actually really, actually good that the High Priestess shows up in the future, because this is all the knowledge and all of your, ventures, your goals, your setbacks that you could all be, putting inside the upper book of knowledge from the High Priestess. So actually, yeah, I want to correct myself on that, because normally, you think, to learn from the past, but this is where you're actually going to be, gathering all of the, moments in your life that you're going to actually be putting in the upper book of knowledge of your past, your experiences for that matter. So, wonderful. Love that. With the Six of Swords, you get the Prince of Grails, the Knight of Cups. You could actually be offered something. That's kind of what I mostly get, is you're being presented with an offering, and that's why you're actually, or you were actually following this person or this offering, and that's where you more or less just took off, because maybe you were being presented with something, because with this offering came this big change. So whatever big change, came from this offering, hopefully it actually is working out in your favor, though it looks like, you could be maybe facing it a little bit alone for that matter, but it doesn't mean that you're entirely alone, because, the thing is thousands and hundreds of humans in this world, including me as a vampire, but of course, I'm not the human anymore, but, if you ever feel like you're alone, you're never alone, because there's usually somebody who's experiencing, the exact same, situation, or who has had that kind of experience in the past on a parallel scale, whether it's across the world, country, state, or city, whatever it is. So the thing is, it's like if you think, oh goodness, I'm the only one who's dealing with it right now, of course, at the moment, you could be facing it right now, but just remember that you're not the only one who's probably, struggling with something, either the same or a similar situation as well. So, I mean, in that aspect. But of course, you know, when you look at yourself in the mirror and you're about to face this big change, of course, it seems like, oh goodness, I'm just all alone. Well, I know that feeling all too well. I mean, you know, I know, you know, how, you know, personal setbacks can make one just feel like, oh goodness, I'm just dealing with everything alone. It just seems like everybody else is just having, you know, such a great day right now, and I'm the one who's just struggling right now, you know. But okay, let's move on to Three of Pentacles reversed. Seven of Wands, yes. This is, you know, your personal battle in current times, and I think this is very, very, very important, you know, to start remembering and to start, you know, thinking, okay, you know, I know exactly, you know, what's going on. I know how to handle this situation. You know, okay, if you are struggling alone, okay, you know, it's like, you know, from the opposite side, from Aries to Libra for that matter. The thing is, you know, it's like when you face obstacles by yourself, you know, it's very painful on so many levels. You know, don't underestimate the pain and suffering you're going to be, you know, experiencing during those moments. However, the thing is you also have to remind yourself of how strong and capable you are. You know, it's like, okay, you could be, you know, a human for that matter, but you probably have so many strong and important traits, you know, that could pretty much, you know, help you, you know, deal with this, you know, situation in current times. Yes, you could be facing with obstacles and problems by yourself. But, you know, if you're able to overcome them on so many, you know, like beautiful, strong qualities that you possess, you know, you're going to come out so strong and so powerful, you know, than before. Because when we move on to Ace of Wands, you have no kind of motivation. You have no kind of energy to put into. But you know what you get? You get the Three of Wands. You're definitely boarding the ship of opportunity of wherever it may take you. So that's why, you know, you're pretty much just thinking, okay, you know, I'm going to have to do it. You know, there's just no way out of this, you know, situation. You know, I'm just going to have to keep going straight, and eventually I will get to the exit or get to the end goal or destination of whatever it may be. But you just have to keep moving. And that's what I see you telling yourself is, oh goodness, that means I'm going to have to deal with everything. I'm going to have to struggle, and I'm going to have to suffer and yada, you know, what have you and stuff like that. But you know, sometimes there's just no way out of that situation except for just, you know, boarding this wonderful opportunity and just heading out, you know? Because even though you got the Tower, you get Two of Pentacles. Fabulous. And I'll tell you why. Because, you know, it's like you're able to actually handle your affairs, your goals, your you know, what do you call, your obligations and responsibilities during this big change. Wonderful. Now that's what I'm talking about. You know, it's like, well, the Two of Pentacles is managing, you know, being able to balance, you know, those two balls like in the Rider Waite deck and stuff like that, or those two little pentacles for that matter. But the thing is, you know, it's like with the scales, you know, you have to keep both of them balanced, just like the Justice card, which is one of your beautiful cards. But I see you doing a wonderful, amazing job. Fabulous. For the High Priestess reversed, I get it. Eight of Knives. You know, you could be worried about the future because maybe you're just thinking, oh goodness, you know, it's like I'm about to embark on this journey, this goal, this destination, and I feel like I have no, you know, idea what I'm doing. I have no idea. Yeah, I have no experience out of this situation. I feel incredibly stuck. I know that feeling all too well. And just because, you know, it's like, you know, I'm always just going to say you're never alone because either, you know, somebody is experiencing it right now, but it could be somebody who's already experienced that. And I've experienced a similar situation. Now, hopefully, you know, you're not transitioning into a vampire for that matter. But the thing is, you know, it's like if you feel like that you're alone and you're, you know, well, taking care of your battles, you know, your problems, your affairs, what have you, and stuff like that. Yeah, of course, you know, it's like if you feel like, oh goodness, you know, I'm heading off towards this, well, new endeavor or goal, and I have no idea what I'm supposed to do and stuff like that. You know, it's like this is where the experience is going to eventually come in for you. Sad but true, but eventually, well, something will definitely come out in a positive manner. For the Magician, you get Eight of Grills. Ooh. Oh yeah, you get the second Eight of Grails. Fabulous. Okay. You know what I see you doing is you're actually, you know, heading off towards a different direction and you're going to be manifesting something. I mean, you could already have been, you know, going back, to the Queen of Wands past moment to actually look at the past again to say, how can I actually, manifest this future aspect. I mean, it doesn't have to be from the past, but, since you already got the Magician, or of course you can head off towards a different direction. I mean, of course, with the second Eight of Cups reversed of not wanting to give up, I actually see you actually wanting to manifest, something, beautiful. I mean, it could be, just a sense of clarity because you got the Eight of Swords with the High Priestess reversed. But the thing is with the Magician upright, you're definitely heading off because you want to start manifesting a way better outcome in the future. Because maybe it didn't work as of yet in the past, but that's why you're not giving up, because you get the Six of Pentacles in the end, meaning it's kind of either, some kind of sacrifice where you either have to give or receive and stuff like that. But I see you actually receiving a wonderful, beautiful opportunity because you're not giving up. And I think that is just a wonderful, amazing, trait and combination that you even see, because the thing is, it's like, not giving up is crucial. Never give up on yourself. Never give up on your goals, your endeavors, anything for that matter. And that's kind of what I saw you doing, is you want to actually create something way better in the future, and you're going to be actually learning from it. So this entire reading for today is based off of your experience and gaining new insight, information, and all kinds of stuff, so you could, apply that to the High Priestess upright the next time. Your special vampire card. Ooh, Seven of Swords. Interesting. It's one of your cards. I mean, the thing is about the Seven of Swords, it has mixed meanings, on one aspect, and that's why, it's like, if you are being presented with this offering, if with the Knight of Cups, the thing is the Seven of Swords on a positive note is about having a really good logical strategy and having a really good plan. But on a negative note, it's dealing with a con artist and deceptive individual. I mean, I'm just thinking, is you want to manifest something, but this person or whoever it could be is kind of like a mixed individual, half friend, half enemy for that matter. Because the thing is on one aspect, with this offering from the past, from the Knight of Cups, that is definitely an offering. However, if what I'm actually seeing is that this person, will once abandon you, because that's why you got the Three of Pentacles. But now that they actually see you being successful, they want to try to get back into your inner circle. I would be cautious of other people that want to either intervene or join you again. Because the thing is, this person could be also taking advantage of you. But I'm sure your senses, your intuition will probably guide you. But I would be extra cautious about whoever this person is. Sad but true. Because Oracle says, Hunter, Aggressor, Tracker, and Provider. Ooh. The thing is, if you want to, head towards, that goal, that endeavor, that whoever you pretty much, it's not victim for that matter. Target, maybe? But anyway, be on the hunt and gather as much information, experience as possible, and try to apply everything that you've learned in this entire reading for today, and just try to apply it for the future as well. So that's kind of what this card is mostly talking about. Wow. Fabulous. I mean, yeah, experience is really important, because that's how we live and that's how we more or less survive, right? Okay, well, I'm going to have to finish off with 3 yes or no answers. Please feel free to pause this video and think about the questions you want answered. Yeah, for Queen of Cups reverse, you got no for answer number 1. Tower reversed is a no. And Hermit upright is actually a no card. So, no, you got 3 no's for this reading. Hopefully they'll benefit you either way. But for now, I'm going to have to leave it at this for my beautiful, amazing Libras. But if this reading resonated for you, please feel free to join and subscribe to my channel. I want to thank you all for joining me. I love you guys incredibly. In a few days, I'm going back to love rings. So for now, I'm just doing general and love. I'm also open for personal readings. All you have to do is subscribe to this channel and post in the little discussion box that you want a reading from me. And I'll respond to you with my email. Other than that, thank you so much for joining me today. I love you guys incredibly, and best of luck on where this journey may take you, and try to gain as much insight as possible.